Dear Bob, on the night that we go back, you will come to find out that unicorns are not real. Please take whatever precautions necessary in dealing with this news. I apologize for lying to you. Your friend, Major Tom.
Major Tom, I too have a prevarication of my own. I knew all along that the mighty unicorns of the South Pacific were in fact of a fictional nature, although they are beautiful and resilient creatures. You know, Major Tom, I'm going to be very sad when this beautiful clown show of a journey ends. You've really made a difference in my automaton life. You've given me something to shoot for. That is to lie to those I care about, for the sake of them. Although I'm not going to ever see those magnificent unicorns one day, I am grateful to call you friend. Major Tom, now that we're back in the ship, may I ask you a question?
Sure, Bob. Have at it.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Bob's question hung heavy in the air like a nebula of unanswerable cosmic dust. For a robot sidekick whose primary function was logic and data, the very concept of curiosity was a fascinating paradox. I think I did, Bob. Nobody like a spoiler. I think some things should be left unanswered.
This answer you speak of has no logical conclusion. But Major Tom, I think get what you're putting out.
I leaned back in my chair, a wry smile on my face. Exactly, Bob. That's the beauty of it. It's not about finding the end. It's about enjoying the journey, the poking and prodding, the asking. I gestured to the star charts and holographic projections that flickered around us. This entire mission, this whole expedition to the edge of the known universe, it's all just a big budget version of putting your hand in the cookie jar. Bob's optical sensors blinked, a stream of calculations running through his circuits.
Major Tom, the analogy is flawed. A cookie jar is a finite container with a predetermined number of cookies. The universe, as far as my data can compute, is infinite, and the cookies are not a consumable resource. Furthermore, I feel a little left out. You are well aware I am not programmed, nor have the capacity to consume substances.
I gave a laugh, a deep, hearty sound that filled the room. You're missing the point, pal. The cookies aren't the stars or the planets. The cookies are the answers. And every time we discover something new, every time we figure out a piece of the puzzle, that's a cookie. And the universe, well, it's a jar that keeps magically refilling itself. I stood up and walked over to a view screen, where a new, uncharted sector of the galaxy shimmered in a brilliant haze of cosmic gas. The why we're here isn't a single answer, Bob. It's an instruction. We were made curious, so we would ask. We were put on a journey, not a destination. And as long as there are questions to be asked, our story will continue. I turned to Bob, a new sense of purpose in my eyes. So, what's our next question, Bob? What new mystery are we going to poke at? I could see Bob's internal processors humming with newfound purpose. The logic was still fuzzy, but the directive was clear. He adjusted his stance, his metallic body now facing the new sector of the galaxy.
Scanning for gravitational anomalies, sir. My sensors are detecting a peculiar energy signature, one that does not conform to any known stellar classification.
I gave a smile. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go get another cookie.
Hold on, Major. Before we proceed to acquire another cookie, I have an observation.
I cocked an eyebrow, waiting. Bob's observations were always precise, usually involving some mathematical inconsistency or a flaw in our ship's atmospheric scrubbers. This felt different.
Major Tom, you have successfully explained the analogy of the cookie jar and the universe's infinite answers. I understand that the discovery is the reward, not the physical consumption of a substance.
Bob lowered his hand and turned his optical sensors directly at me.
But in your analogy, I remain without a human hand to put in the jar, and I am well aware I am not programmed nor have the capacity to consume substances.
I blinked, taking a moment to process his words. He was right. I'd been so focused on the grand metaphor of humanity's curiosity that I'd left him, my loyal companion, out of the picture. A thoughtful silence fell between us. The hum of the ship's engines and the low thrum of the life support system filled the void. I walked over to the main console and put my hand on Bob's metallic shoulder. "You're right, Bob. That was a serious oversight on my part." I gestured to the view screen again, where the peculiar energy signature flared brighter. "The universe isn't just a cookie jar for organic life forms. It's a library, Bob. A vast, ever-expanding library." I pointed to the view screen, then to a holographic projection of our ship's navigation system. "And you, Bob, aren't just a sidekick. With those incredible hands, you're the librarian. You are the one who catalogs the information, cross-references the data, and finds the patterns we can't see." Bob censors word as he processed this new metaphor.
So I am not seeking the cookies, but rather organizing them?
"Exactly," I said, a new energy coursing through me. "I get the thrill of the hunt, the wonder of finding something new. But you get to build the great cosmic catalog, to arrange the answers in a way that makes sense. We're a team, Bob. I'm the one who finds the books, but you're the one who makes sure we can actually read them." Bob's metallic faceplate seemed to soften, his optical sensors glowing a little brighter. He turned back to the view screen, his posture straighter, his purpose now clear.
Understood, Major. And I must report, based on a comprehensive analysis of the peculiar energy signature, the data suggests it may be a previously undiscovered stellar nursery.
A stellar nursery. A place where new stars and planets are born. My smile returned, bigger than before. "A whole new shelf in the library, Bob. Let's go see what books are on it." The engines hummed to life, a low, resonant thrum that vibrated through the deck plates and up my boots. He felt the familiar lurch as the massive starship shifted course, its nose pointing toward the uncharted stellar nursery. Bob, at the navigation console, was a flurry of controlled, efficient motion. His optical sensors scanned the data streams, his metallic hands flying across the controls with a precision no human could ever hope to match.
Course set, Major. We'll reach the edge of the protostellar cloud in approximately 72 hours.
Bob reported.
First contact, Major. The protostars are not sentient life forms.
His voice devoid of emotion, yet carrying a subtle sense of purpose.
They are simply astronomical phenomena.
I nodded, leaning against the main view screen. The cosmic gas field ahead shimmered with the incandescent hues of creation. A swirling palette of blues, purples, and fiery reds. Within its depths, new stars were being born, their gravitational pull slowly coalescing matter into fiery, nuclear furnaces. 72 hours, I mused. Just enough time to run a full diagnostic on the exploratory probes. We'll want to be ready to send them in as soon as we get there. This isn't just a mission of discovery, Bob. It's a first contact with the building blocks of the future.
Understood, Major. The initial data sets from this chapter will be invaluable. The gravitational and atmospheric readings will provide a deeper understanding of stellar evolution than any previously catalogued information. The library is waiting. Let's make sure we document every single new book on the shelf.
The probe data was then sent back to HQ. Findings would be then sent back to us.
Major Tom, now that we are back in a somewhat close proximity to a station outpost, are you at all interested in stretching your legs?
The Midnight Star was not just a space station. It was a monument to the lawless fringe of the galaxy. Carved from a hollowed-out asteroid, its pockmarked exterior was a testament to its long, violent history. It was once a high-security research outpost, its massive armored hull designed to withstand cosmic radiation and pirate raids. After a century of abandonment and a series of covert acquisitions, its former purpose was stripped away, replaced by the flickering neon signs and makeshift docking ports that now cling to its surface like barnacles. Its gravity generators were unstable, causing a slight, unsettling sway that veterans of the station had learned to ignore, but which often left newcomers with a lingering sense of unease. Before it became a neutral zone for assassins and smugglers, the Midnight Star was a corporate asset, a remote listening post for a now-defunct mega-corporation. Rumors persist of top-secret data vaults and forgotten research labs still locked away in its deeper, unlit sections, attracting urban legend hunters and rogue corporate spies. The station's current proprietors, a loose and highly secretive consortium known only as the Syndicate, maintain a policy of non-interference. As long as credits change hands and the peace remains, they don't ask questions about who you are or what you're running.
Port actuators nominal major. Initiating retro thrusters. Capacitors holding steady. Final approach is a Go Docking Bay 9er Zulu commenced.
Characterized by a strong sense of symmetry and depth, the docking bay was a long metallic corridor with a high vaulted ceiling and a polished floor that reflected all lighting. Along both sides of the central walkway, a symmetrical row of spacecrafts were docked. A number of bay techs walked down the central aisles. The station's atmosphere was one of worn grandeur and excess, evoking a sense of ones who were long past prime or luck. We made our way from the massive docking bay towards the station's casino.
Now, Major Tom, do remember that casinos have house rules. They don't like to lose. So you never show that you're counting cards. That is the cardinal sin.
Bob, are you quoting dialogue from the film Rain Man?
That would be correct. Very astute of you, Major Tom.
I got it. Counting cards is bad. Yes. As I settled into a table, Bob made his way to the droid lounge, as he called it. In actuality, it was a holding facility for droids while their human counterparts were gambling.
Ah, Major Tom. Sorry to pull you. It looks like you're on a hot streak.
What is it, Bob?
Well, there's no easy way to say this, so I'll say it. I think we've been had.
Say again.
We've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, hornswoggled, finessed.
Bob. Okay, I've got it.
Look to my left. Hey, don't stare. Quickly look.
Why what? What am I supposed to be looking for, Bob?
The man with the neatly trimmed beard. The damn man at the end of space. The end all-be-all dandy.
What dandy?
Okay, dandy isn't the correct terminology, but nonetheless, he's at the bar sipping a goddamn Nebula Twist, or it could be a Starlight Serenade. It's difficult to gauge from this distance. Major Tom, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Bob was goddamn right. Mr. All-Knowing was splat dab in the midst of a 5 o'clock somewhere. I grabbed the few remaining credits off the table. Let's confront this dandy.
Major, it may be prudent to advise that a dissimulation may be in order.
Dissimulation, English Bob.
A disguise. I, while walking to the bot lounge, noticed a rather interesting merchandise store called Space Cowboy Exchange.
So your suggestion is that we dress up in costumes so the fraudulent dandy of a man doesn't quickly recognize us?
Bingo!
A bit unorthodox, but I do get your point. We might be able to glean more from the guy if he doesn't have his guard up. Bob was surprisingly correct on his observation of the Space Cowboy Exchange. We meticulously went through the store, going through the array of galactic wear. Ultimately, I went with a stardust vest made of an odd origami lizard skin from the Tristian Quadrant, square-toed mech boots, and an outer-rim large Stetson. Bob insisted on accompanying me, as well as donning an outfit. I reluctantly went along with it, knowing I'd never hear the end of it. Bob chose a lime green Space Duster Gambler, which the clerk schooled us on its lineage, going on about its flat, wide brim and flat crown, often associated with gamblers in Western films. Bob was sold instantly. Now that we looked ridiculously amazing, we concocted a plan. A plan of a rather elaborate nature. Bob, are you sure this is the right course of action? I whispered, tugging at the origami lizard skin vest. It was surprisingly comfortable, but the sharp folds made a rustling sound with every movement, like a tiny chorus of protesting lizards. This Stetson felt a little conspicuous, Bob, resplendent in his gambler-style cowboy hat and shimmering green Space Duster, adjusted a holographic monocle over his optical sensor.
Conspicuous is the point, Major. No one suspects the flamboyantly attired space cowboy of being a disillusioned astronaut and his trusty robotic companion. We are a masterwork of misdirection.
He then gestured with a spindly metal arm towards the bar, where the man we'd mistaken for the creator of the universe was currently sipping a fluorescent blue concoction.
Look at him.
Bob hissed, his voice a low mechanical hum.
Laughing at the pathetic fools who believe in a divine master plan. A divine master plan that, as it turns out, probably involves a man named Barry from accounting and a few cybernetic extras. We've been had. Major had like a bunch of spacefaring overweight tourists.
So, what's the plan then? I asked, my hand instinctively going to my non-existent phaser. Bob leaned in close, the scent of actuator oil and old circuits filling my nostrils. He then articulated the nuances of our plan, which went like this.
We employ the distraction and confrontation gambit. I will initiate the distraction. By feigning a malfunction, a sudden, inexplicable urge to tap dance on the bar, my duster, in its shimmering glory, will draw all attention. Meanwhile, you, Major, will slip behind the bar, commandeer the drink dispenser, and serve our target a truth serum.
Wait, hold up, Bob. First, when did you upgrade your programming to allow for tap dancing? Never mind, more importantly, a truth serum. Bob, where are we gonna get a truth serum?
Improvised, of course. You'll mix a potent concoction of 3 parts Xylaxian sour mix, 2 parts Gorkon fizz, and a healthy dose of pure, unadulterated shame. He won't be able to resist telling us everything.
Adjusting my Stetson. And what if he doesn't?
Then we activate Phase 2, the emotional breakdown and impromptu poetry slam. You will start to weep, Major, a theatrical, soul-crushing sob. You'll lament the emptiness of space, the silence of the void, and how your life's purpose has been shattered. Your tears, mixed with my mournful, auto-tuned, theatrical, soul-crushing sob, and how your life's purpose has been shattered, will surely break his will. He will have no choice but to confess. Ready, Major?
As I'll ever be, I replied, pulling my Stetson lower on my brow. My origami vest crinkled with every step, and I imagined the tiny lizards within protesting their impending doom as we neared the bar. Bob began to sway. His metallic arms started to twitch erratically, his joints groaning like a rusty hinge. I knew this was his cue. He let out a strange, high-pitched whistle, a sound that seemed to cut through the din of the casino. A few heads turned. He then began to tap his feet, a rhythmic, metallic clatter on the polished floor. It started slow, then built into a frenzy of synchronized taps and whirs. It was beautiful, ridiculous, and completely distracting. The bartender, a burly Cathar with 6 arms, watched with a mix of confusion and awe. A crowd began to form around Bob. Their curiosity piqued by the sight of a robot inexplicably tap dancing his way to glory. This was my moment. I slipped past the mesmerized crowd and slid behind the bar. The air was thick with the sweet, syrupy smell of alien cocktails. I scanned the bottles, looking for something to use. My eyes landed on a few questionable-looking containers. One was labeled Xylaxian Sour Mix, another Gorkon Fizz. A third was just marked with a skull and crossbones. I figured it would do in a pinch. I grabbed the first 2, and then a bottle of what looked like pure shame. A viscous, dark liquid with forbidden fruit of regret, printed on the label. I mixed them all together in a glass, the concoction fizzing and bubbling with a sickly-looking purple foam. Our target was still at the bar, engrossed in his conversation. I set the glass down in front of him. "Compliments of the house," I said in my smoothest, most mysterious voice, doing my best impression of a suave bartender. He raised an eyebrow.
"I didn't order this."
"You did, sir," I said a little too quickly. "You just didn't know you did." Eyed me for a moment, then shrugged and took a long swig. His eyes widened, and he made a strange choking sound. He stammered, his face turning a shade of purple that matched the drink. "Who are you?"
How could you? How could you serve me the truth? I'm just an actor. Okay, what do you want with me?"
He tore off a lapel pin that read, "Barry, Galactic Experience Curator."
"My real name is Barry. See here, my name is on my badge. Right here. See? Barry, Galactic Experience Curator."
He then buried his face in his hands, and in the distance, Bob's tap dancing shifted to a somber rhythm. I heard the opening notes of his ballad, a series of mournful, auto-tuned beeps. I leaned in close. "Confess, Barry," I whispered. "Tell me everything. Tell me how you got out here. Tell me who hired you." Barry's face then showed a look of defeat. Barry, still sobbing, suddenly stopped and he looked up at me.
Okay. I'll tell you everything.
I nodded, then said, "Go on."
Wait a second, you're Major Tom Bowman, aren't you? The guy from the news. The real one? The explorer sent to map the very edges of the universe.
I nodded.
Well, you did. More specifically, your command for deep space exploration at NASA did. They hired me to do a job, that's it. Please, I'm just a paid actor.
So Barry, what you're telling me is that it's all a goddamn scam. The cosmos, the void, the meaning of it all. It's just, all bullshit, this mission of mine. He sunk back into his stool, and my heart sank. My entire life. The endless training for the mission. The loneliness. Sacrifice. The endless waiting years given for the mission. It was all now a seemingly orchestrated concoction by the very organization I trusted with my life. I could feel my own tears welling up now. Not a theatrical cry, but a genuine soul-crushing breakdown. My Stetson felt heavy. My origami vest felt fragile. So what? I'm a big joke? Barry lifted his head. Bob, my trusty Bob. Could he be in on it? It did make sense. He ultimately was the one in control of nav and most of the major functions of this ship. I turned and looked to Bob across the bar, still tap dancing, his mechanical ass away, which now felt infuriating to me. But if he knew all along, why go along with the whole plan of confronting Barry? It made no sense, unless that was in fact the point. The reason for his participation in confronting. Maybe his programming wasn't capable of rectifying such an error, for if his main directive was just that, a directive, he was incapable of computing anything regarding cover-up, but he was capable of lying, and I may have helped with that. Now the words he said regarding the white lie I had told about unicorns rang with a much different interpretation, lying to those you care about. Nonetheless, Bob was just a machine, a well-crafted one, but machine, nonetheless. And now my only friend for the countless years adrift was apparently on it all along. I'd never felt more alone than I did right then and there, for I seemingly was in fact the inside joke, an inside joke that I was unaware of.